All right, we're back here for our fourth and final segment. This is just talking about some news around the league, some stuff I wanted to talk about, make sure that was mentioned on the show because I thought it was very notable. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first one is about Miguel Sano. He, after a few tumultuous years, after being a big fixture in the Twins organization, a guy a lot of people thought would be the future, kind of dealt with some problems, specifically weight problems. He was really big. I don't say that to make fun of him. It's just kind of the situation he was in. He went overseas, played in some winter ball games, didn't really play for an organization for a little while, but he signed a deal with the Angels after impressing in winter ball, and showed up to camp and is looking really good, really skinny, really in shape. So he could be a factor for the Angels this year, kind of out of nowhere. So good for him, and I'm really rooting for him. Seems like a cool guy. Seems like a guy that you want to win. I'm looking forward to see what Miguel Sano is going to do for the Angels this year, and if he is a big surprise for them, like I may be expecting after seeing a picture like that. Next, we have the Cubs. They made a small trade, a little Chicago trade, trading Bailey Horn to the White Sox. This clears a 40-man spot for the Cubs to officially announce the Cody Bellinger re-signing. So, I'm glad the Cubs are finally getting that done. We'll see Bellinger playing a spring training game hopefully soon. And, that's something I'm looking out for to see how Bellinger performs back with the Cubs and what's going on with that. Next, we have another piece of news here. Carlos Hernandez, bullpen arm for the Kansas City Royals. He was shut down due to shoulder soreness. Probably going to be a big part of the Royals' bullpen this year, so that's not good, but it shouldn't be a long-term thing, kind of more short. That is going to affect him a little bit, just kind of nagging all year, so you got to get that checked out. I think it's all right. It's not a big deal. Wanted to talk about it. I thought it was notable. I'm kind of high on the Royals this year. I think they have a lot of holes, but I think the players they do have are really good. And I think there's always one big surprise team that gets the 6th seed. Last year's the Diamondbacks, and they made the World Series. So, you can never really count out any team in this league. So, I definitely look at the Royals as a surprise team. And Carlos Hernandez news doesn't really help you, but again, it's not a big deal. You have other bullpen arms. You signed guys like Chris Stratton, like Will Smith. It's not a huge deal. Next, speaking of bullpen arms, the Nationals, they have agreed to a contract with former Boston closer Matt Barnes. Barnes was a very good closer for the Red Sox for a long time. Signed a 2-year extension on the heels of a great season with the Red Sox. Then, kind of after the second half when the contract was announced, he was not good. He was not good. He had a great first half and did nothing after that. The second half was just horrible for him. Did not play very well at all. So, not good. But Nationals hoping they can take a flyer on him. Hopefully they can get him back to his old form in a way. And seeing what can happen with that. It's a good signing by the Nationals. They've done this a few times now this offseason, most notably Joey Gallo. I like the fact that they're doing this. I think other young rebuilding teams should do this. If the player sucks, you get you a better draft pick because he'll probably lose you some games. And if he's really good, you have a guy to either build around or trade at the deadline for a bunch of prospects. So I'm always a fan of younger teams doing this. I think the White Sox have done it pretty brilliantly as well. So, I like what the Nationals are doing with the Matt Barnes signing and overall with signings like this in the offseason right now. Next, we have Harold Ramirez. He is apparently being shopped by Tampa on the trade market and could be a trade candidate in the near future. This makes a lot of sense. The Rays just signed Ahmed Rosario, of course, and Rosario probably is going to be taking a lot of at-bats against left-handed pitching, as he is a righty who hits left-handers pretty well. So that kind of takes away a good amount of at-bats for Harold Ramirez and what he brings to the team. So, I think it makes just logical sense for the Rays to be shopping Harold Ramirez. It makes a lot of sense. I think if a team could have interest in him, he hits lefties well. Overall, good player. He had a nice season with the Rays last year. But you always have to be mindful because seasons players have with the Rays, they might not replicate with other teams because it is the Rays, they have some sort of secret formula where they can make players very good again. So you always have to take that into consideration when you're making a trade with the Rays, and I think teams will. But still a good player being shopped around by Tampa, so maybe we'll see some action there. We obviously just saw a former Ray being traded yesterday in Manuel Margot, so that's something to watch. Brian Hayes today hit a grand slam for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Looking forward to a big season by Brian. Nice start to it, hitting a grand slam. He's one of the young core guys for the Pirates. Signed a big extension last season. One of the better defenders in baseball already at third base. He's going to be for a long time. If he can get that hitting to a consistent level, he can be an extremely good player, a very, very good player. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to him potentially having a breakout season. And, let's get on with that. So, yeah. Chris Sale, he made his Braves spring training debut. He was hitting 97 on the gun and struck out 4. So a nice start to the Braves for Chris Sale. Can maybe give him some momentum going into the season with him as their big pitching addition. I think, like a lot of people, I was very skeptical of this addition because it is Chris Sale in 2024. He's dealt with a lot of freak injuries. He just hasn't stayed healthy, like I've said. He's kind of regressed when he has been on the mounds, but Braves are a very smart organization. They know what they're doing. So if they believe Chris Sale can be the Chris Sale of old again, who am I to doubt them? So, looking forward to seeing Chris Sale in Atlanta and seeing what he does. Finally here, the segment's not over. We're going to be talking about some just spring training games and what's happening with them around the league and what's going on with that. So, first we'll talk about the games that have finished. First, the Mets and the Marlins. It was 7-1. Mets won. The young players showed out. Drew Gilbert had some hits. Luis Angel Acuna. G-Man Choi had a long home run, so that was nice. Adrian Hauser had a good debut with the Mets, and looking forward to that. Nationals blew out the Astros 10-3. Orioles beat the Tigers 5-2. Red Sox and Cardinals tied 3-3, which is disgusting. Ties in baseball are horrible. I know it's spring training, but come on, man. Let's be serious. Same with the Phillies and Twins as well. Same exact score. Tigers beat the Blue Jays 6-4. Pirates blew out the Braves 13-4. Obviously, I talked about it. Chris Sale did have a very good game for the Braves, but after that, Brian Hayes, he did hit a grand slam, so that obviously broke the doors off for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Brian Reynolds hit a 2-run homer to also help the cause. So, the Rays beat the Yankees 4-2. It is currently the end. We're going to go to now current games. Current for live people. I don't think it's current for audio people, depending on when time I get this out. It could be, but I don't know. The Reds are currently no-hitting the Cubs in the end of the 6th inning. So that's something to watch. They've had Frankie Montas go 2. They then had, let me get the name, Connor Phillips go 2. Then had Tony Santillan go an inning. And Zach Maxwell, who's a nobody reliever, I guess, also go an inning. So we'll see if they can get the no-hitter done. Probably won't be on stream, but we'll update you if anything does happen. We're ending in a few minutes, so I doubt that. The Rockies and Royals are in the bottom of the 5th. Bases loaded for the Royals, with Vinny Pasquantino at the plate. So we'll update you on if Pasquantino does something there. The A's are beating the Guardians 3-1 in the top of the 5th. Mariners are beating the Giants 7-5. Rangers are beating the Diamondbacks 7-2. Angels beating the Brewers 5-4 in the top of the 5th. And of course, we have to talk about the Dodgers game. Ohtani, had his debut with the Dodgers. First at bat, struck out from Garrett Crochet, who was throwing 100 on the gun. The White Sox, I forgot to talk about him a long time ago when I was talking about relievers turning into starters, but White Sox are stretching out Garrett Crochet, making him a starting pitcher, and I think that's something really interesting with the raw stuff he has. He has a lot of injury risk. He's ready at Tommy John, so I'll see how it goes, but I'm very interested to see how that works out for the White Sox and see what happens there. But so Ohtani first struck out to Crochet, then hit it into a double play. His next at bat, so not the best start, but it's spring training. He's the best player in baseball. We know better to look into this very heavily. Pasquantino was still at the plate here. He walked, actually, with the bases loaded, so now it's 2-2 tie for Kansas City. We have Michael Tolbert at the plate for the Royals. So we'll see if he can do anything for the bases loaded. Tyler Tolbert. I don't know why I said Michael. Shortstop prospect for the Royals. Still a no-hitter going on with the Reds and the Cubs. So a nice start to Frankie Montas' tenure in Cincinnati. I've talked about him a few times in the show, how much I do love that contract, how much I thought it was a steal for the Reds, and I'm very excited to watch him in Cincinnati. I think they have a great young team. I've talked about this a few times now. This isn't incredible news, but I'm really looking forward to Frankie Montas in Cincinnati with that young pitching staff, with Lodolo, with Green, with Graham Ashcraft signing, with finding Nick Martinez, making him a starter as well. So something to look out for. So that's some recap of news around the league, as well as some spring training games. Nothing else is really happening right now. Tyler Tolbert, he's still at the plate. The Rockies made a pitching change, so we're not going to be able to see him and his what happens with that at bat. But if something notable happens, I'll probably kick myself for it after. But that's the end of our show today. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means so much. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Keep donating, keep liking, keep subscribing. It really does help us, really does help me, everyone around here. So thank you so much for that. And I'll see you tomorrow. So thanks and goodbye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.